Charger families and our chargers. This is our reopening PowerPoint, and we want to welcome you back to Green Acres Middle School. This video will cover our bell schedule, our traffic patterns, health and safety on campus, what you need to bring, and orientation. First off, our bell schedule. This looks very similar to our bell schedule that we had in the first semester of school, where we have an AM and PM divided. You'll notice right here that we have a few more minutes dedicated to first period. We have shortened second, third, and fourth periods just a little bit so that we can accommodate first period. Remember that students, you should be completing your asynchronous and independent work while you're not in class. This will help elevate your grade throughout the semester. Our Wednesdays will look very similar to what we have now, except that we will have all of our students Zooming from home on Wednesdays. We will continue to follow the advisory, math, ELA, PE or elective, science, history, intervention times, followed by lunch break, and office hours time for about an hour, and then you have time for your asynchronous work. Take a look at our new entrance and exit patterns. Normally we would have just one entrance here at the large gate outside the Murphy Center. But in an effort to keep our students safe and a little bit separated so we're not all clumping together, we have now 5 separate entrance points. Those entrance points are related to your first period English class when we're entering campus. We have the red gate, which is outside the Murphy Center, the yellow gate, which is outside of room 10, the green gate is just outside the office. If you're looking at the office, it is to the right. The blue gate to the left of the office, if you were looking at the office door, and the purple gate, which is a smaller gate located near the bike rack. As you enter campus, you'll notice where your classrooms are. Be sure to take note of which gate you will use to enter class and which ones you will use to exit. If you enter class if you have first period with Mrs. Bates, for example, first and second period, you'd enter in through the red gate. As you exit campus, let's say you have fourth period with Mrs. Williams, you will exit through the green gate. Students and parents, it's important to know which gates you enter and exit. We want to keep our students safe and separated out so we're not, again, clumping together. So once again, students will enter the gate closest to their first period class, and on Mondays and Thursdays, we'll use their fourth period exit gate, again, the gate that is closest. And Tuesdays and Fridays, they will use perhaps a different gate, the one that, again, is closest to their seventh period class. This map is available on Schoology, and at our orientation, you'll have your schedule and this map printed on the back. The first day of school, you will see balloons out by your gate. So again, take a look, make sure you go to the right entrance point. We will have staff on campus to direct you if you run into any trouble. Our drop-off and pickup times are set so that we are waiting around outside as little as possible. This is very similar to our friends in the elementary schools. Gates will open for our morning students at 8:05, and they will open again at 12:10 for our afternoon students. The pickup time, classes end at 11:02. For our morning families, and 3:07 for our afternoon chargers. Be sure to pick up your students efficiently using the nearest gates for your pickup locations. The red gate is monitored by Mr. Avila. Ms. Link, Karen's, Ms. Bates, Mrs. Cardoso, Ms. Scott, Ms. Hyatt, Ms. Montgomery, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Vang, Mr. Peterson, and Mr. Guerrero are all in that red area. If you have 8th grade English, first thing, or if you have history, you'll know you have the red gate for your entrance or exit point. So as you are driving into campus, as we've been doing for all of our pickups, you come in through in the Murphy Center lot, and you'll notice we have the large gate right here by the red fire lane area. Do not drive onto campus, parents, but students, as you come on, you will enter in through this gate. Mr. Avila will be there to greet you. You'll notice we do have our blue arrows, and we also have yellow 6-foot distance spaces. Come in, and then you'll make a slight left turn to our English department. Again, Ms. Link, Ms. Cairns, Ms. Bates, and then down here at room 9, Ms. Cardoso. If you have class with Mrs. Hyatt or Mr. Vang, you're coming into campus again through that same red gate area. Again, please do not drive on campus, parents. Thank you. Coming down the way, following our blue arrows, and instead of making a slight left, you're going to make a 90-degree left turn. And here we go down the hallway. Oh, Mr. Butler must be out working, so let's step around his cart there. And we're going to make a right turn into this hallway area. And again, we have our history department and our special education department. Here's Miss Scott's room, Mrs. Hyatt, Mrs. Montgomery. Now we're into the history department, Mr. Garcia, and down here at the end, Mr. Vang. On the other side of the hallway, this same hallway, you will have Mr. Peterson and Mr. Guerrero. So once you get to Mr. Vang's classroom, you'll turn around, go on the other side of the tree, and walk back down toward Mr. Guerrero or Mr. Peterson. Our yellow gate is staffed by Coach Stiff. He's our basketball coach, by the way. Mrs. McAvoy, our choir teacher. Senora Lugo, our Spanish and ELD teacher. And our English department for the 7th grade, Mrs. Collinson, Mrs. Hernandez, Ms. Avila, Mrs. Sorber, and our 8th grade science teacher, one of them, Mrs. Kiernan, are all out by the yellow gate. So again, you come into the Murphy Center lot, but instead of stopping here at the red gate, you'll continue on the curved path. Watch for students, and students watch for cars as you're getting into the crosswalk. And you'll pull over right here to the edge, head up this way, and again, we've got our yellow brick 6-foot distance road. Come in through the gate. And as you come in, you'll turn right. Watch out not to hit the wall. That wouldn't be any good. And you'll see again, we've got our arrows. We have arrows leading up and down. We're going to go down the hallway. This is all of our English 7 department. Here's Mrs. Hernandez's room, followed by Ms. Avila. Across the hallway here from Ms. Avila is Ms. McAvoy in room 2. Heading back this way, we've got Mrs. Sorber in room 13. And our science department, Ms. Kiernan in room 14. If you have Spanish, you'll walk in through the picnic table area. Again, follow those arrows. And we're here. We've made it to Spanish class. When you exit, you'll again look for those arrows, head out, and then you're into Charger Square. There are 2 sets of arrows on going south, and we also have 2 sets of arrows going north as well. Our green gate is staffed by our fabulous principal, Mrs. Hawkins. This would be the gate for students who have Ms. Linker first period, Mrs. Baker, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Williams, she's in science, Mrs. Linker, Baker, and Brown are all of our math teachers. Mr. Ballard, he's also teaching math. Mrs. Drukenbrode, math, and Mr. Cavadas out in room 45. Come in through the main entrance area up by the office. Again, as you're looking at the office, this gate will be to your right. Come into campus, and you'll notice there at the office, we've got Mrs. Hawkins. There she is. Good morning, Mrs. Hawkins. As she greets you, you head on in, and this is the hallway area for our math department. On our left, at this doorway right here, room 31, is Mr. Ballard. Then we also have in room 33, Mrs. Drukenbrode. Across the way, we have, that's Mrs. Williams's room. Then we also have Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Brown, and as we make our way farther back, Mrs. Baker and Mrs. Linker. Our blue gate is supervised by Mrs. Jorgensen. This is our 8th grade assistant principal. Mrs. Gibson, our art teacher. Mr. Freitas, our 8th grade PE teacher. Mrs. Bragg, 7th grade science. Mrs. Gurney in 7th grade science. And again, coming into our main lot, instead of going to the right side gate this time, now we'll go to the left side gate. So we make our way into campus. This is also the side where we have our nurse's office, should there be a need to meet with our nurse. We'll come in through here. And again, we've got our arrows pointing you in the right direction. Please follow those arrows wherever you're going. Thank you. We've got our office. And as we make our way down, we're about halfway down the building. We'll run into room 43 and to Mrs. Gibson. This is our science department. So there's Mrs. Bragg's room. Here is our art and yearbook class, Mrs. Gibson. And across the way is Mrs. Gurney. If you were to continue straight down this hallway, you'll run right into Mr. Freitas' 8th grade PE class. Our purple gate is supervised by our counselor, Ms. Bahorla, also known as Ms. B. If you have computers, you're looking for Mr. Kersey. Mr. Mashler and Mr. Yokota are our band and orchestra teachers. Mrs. Freitas and Mrs. Moody are our 7th and 8th grade PE teachers. Let's come this way. Again, we're coming into the main gate area. Oh, and we can see Miss Bahorla is already there waiting for you. So this is the smaller gate here. Thank you, Ms. B. As you make your way onto campus via the purple gate, we head down this hallway here where we'll find Mr. Kersey. There he is. Mr. Kersey's class is down here at the end, room 64. And across the way, if we continue on down this path, we'll make a left turn, continuing to follow those arrows, out to our PE department. This is again where Mrs. Freitas and Mrs. Moody are. And you'll line yourselves up on the dots where they assign you. This is your meeting place for PE. Students who are late to school, once again, the bell rings for school to start at 8:20, and your first period class is pretty short, so it's very important that you get to your classes on time. Please enter in through the normal gate if you are just a couple of minutes late. Again, this is the same for our PM students. Use your regular normal gate. But if it is after those first 5 minutes and you find your gate is closed, please make your way up to the blue gate. That was the gate where Mrs. Jorgensen's side was, where we will have a staff member to give you a tardy slip. But we want to avoid tardies as much as possible. So, if you need to arrive a little bit later because you're a little bit tardy, go over to the blue gate, please. If you're leaving early because you have an appointment and such, pull into our curbside service and then call the office. From there, a staff member and your student will greet you at the green gate. That was the gate where Mrs. Hawkins was. We will get you then safely over to your vehicle. We do have walking traffic patterns on campus, and you'll notice that we have them very similar to what you saw in the videos. Please take note of the middle of campus, as this is the major thoroughfare. We do have 2 lanes heading in each direction for our students to travel safely and 6 feet apart. We do ask that students move as quickly as possible, but still maintaining distance. you'll notice that we do have maintaining 6-foot distance spots outside of classrooms. You may also see tape mark X's, but we do also have those arrows all over the campus. So be sure to follow along where you're supposed to go, and at our orientation, you'll have an opportunity to see it firsthand. So you'll notice, oh, this good-looking fellow right here is walking up the hallway in the correct direction because he's following the arrows right into Ms. Avila's room. You'll see, again, we've got our 2 different directions. So we've just left the history department and we're coming over here following the arrows out to our next class. And on the other side of the bleachers, we'll have students traveling in the northbound direction back toward the English, Math, and Science departments. Right now, we're heading over to 7th grade science. There is an arrow line right up the middle between the 2 sides, so students could turn left into art or turn right to head into the library or into our science department. Our health and safety is very important to our students and to our staff. Please follow these very simple things in order to keep our students safe. First and foremost is wear a mask. The mask should be up over your nose and under your chin. And if we've got one that is a little loose or falling off, we have extras that we can provide you. Please maintain a 6-foot distance as you are walking on campus or you're in your classroom. Avoid touching and crowds. I know this will probably be most challenging the first few days back as we all want to give high fives and hugs, but unfortunately that is frowned upon right now. And if you are ever in a classroom or you need to use the restroom, please wash your hands for 20 seconds with water and soap. When we're in class, you can also use the sanitizers that are found in every classroom. Make sure that before you leave the house, that you do a symptom prescreen. Look for the following symptoms. Do you have a fever over 100 degrees? Do you have cough or a shortness of breath? Do you have body aches or muscle pains that have come on recently? Headaches? Fatigue? Nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea? A sore throat? Congestion or a runny nose, loss of sense of smell or taste, and if you do have any of these symptoms or have been in close contact with someone who has been COVID positive, please keep your student at home and contact our office for next steps. Face masks are required. The USD will provide 2 cloth face masks for every student, so there's no reason to not have a face mask. Students may bring their own, but they should be school appropriate, long enough to cover your mouth and nose, and be at least 2 layers of cloth. We do have extra disposable masks available should you forget. But let's not make a habit of it, people. And by the way, who wouldn't want to buy this mask if this were available? That is great. We do have an isolation room for students who are experiencing symptoms, and teachers will notify appropriate staff so the student will be safely escorted to the isolation room. The staff member will remain with the student, monitoring from the door until our nursing staff is able to evaluate the student. Students displaying symptoms may be sent home up to 10 days in order to quarantine. Students can attend class via Zoom. In order to keep everyone safe, we've got sanitization happening. Thanks, Mr. Ballard, for showing us where our sanitizers are in class. And Mr. McCarter is showing what we use to fog our classrooms. Students will wash their hands when they enter class. That's a great way to help keep us all safe and healthy. Classrooms are fogged between our AM and PM blocks. And each classroom has also been equipped with an air filtration system provided by the district. That's an extra precaution to help keep our students safe. Student desks have been placed 6 feet apart for social distancing. As noted here in Ms. Avila's class, we've got our desks 6 feet apart, and she's also marked with tape how to enter into class. Come down, follow the tape, get to your seat. Oh, look at that. I'm right in the front row. I sit down, I take care of business in class. A lot of it will be on the screen. And then as I leave, I make sure, of course, to push in my chair and follow the arrows on the way out. This is a great way to help minimize traffic and crossing into one another. From here, I exit the classroom, and then I will head out and follow those arrows out into Charger Square. What do you need to bring on these days when you're in school? Well, of course, your face mask, and it's also very important to bring your Chromebook fully charged from the night before. Make sure you charge your Chromebook. It's a lot more challenging to do class if you don't have your stuff. If you prefer to use the mouse, bring that too. If you've got your novel for ELA or your My Perspectives book, you may need to bring that as well. Your ELA teacher will tell you when. And please also bring your school-issued binder and any other supplies like your whiteboard, art supplies, or science kits. And if you need to, bring a bottle of water, as our water fountains are, of course, covered for safety purposes. Again, that Chromebook is most important, so please bring it to class every day. Make sure it's fully charged the night before and that everything is working appropriately. If for some reason your Chromebook isn't working the way it's supposed to, please notify the office and we will be able to exchange out the Chromebook you have for a fresh one. The question came up about PE because we do have PE every day that you have class. Locker rooms will not be used, so on the day when you have PE, it's probably best that you dress in loose but comfortable athletic clothing. You know, a gym shirt or gym shorts and a t-shirt. Make sure you've got comfortable running shoes those days. If you'd like, you can certainly wear your PE clothing that you may have purchased already. If you would like to purchase PE clothing, make sure to talk to your PE teacher and they will get you all set up. We do have restrooms on campus, of course, but it is highly encouraged that you as a student use the restroom before you come to campus. If you really need to use the restroom because of an emergency, the time to best do it is during passing periods. Make sure that you are wearing your mask at all times, and students, even when you're in the restroom, we should be social distancing. If there is more than 2 people in the restroom, please do wait outside on the dots before we enter. We will always want to practice good hygiene when we're in the restroom. Make sure you throw away any paper towels and scrub up well on your hands so we can make sure we return to campus healthy. We will have our lunch and meal distributions taking place. If you are leaving campus in the morning, then you'll pick up your lunch on your way out. And PM students, you will pick up your breakfast and your lunch for the following day. Our students who are on distance learning, we will continue to have our weekly pickup, but instead of Thursday, it will now be on Wednesday, but it'll be at the same times as before, 10:30 to 12, and now 5 to 6:30 instead of 7 o'clock. Parents, we understand that you are very concerned about your kids and we want to keep them safe, but we ask that you do not come onto campus. If you do need to get in touch with us, use those drive-up stalls or call the school office at 730-7671. We will have orientation to help our students get acclimated and understand where they need to go on campus. Our 7th graders will meet at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, March 24th. Those are for our morning students, and our afternoon students will meet at 1 o'clock. And they'll be guided around campus so they understand where everything is at. Our 8th grade students, you may be familiar with the campus already, but maybe you need a refresher course. Our morning classes, our morning students will meet at 11 a.m. and our afternoon students at 2:30 p.m. That's an opportunity for you to get sure of where you need to go when you're on campus. We do have additional information that is available in this link and that you can also see online. This is the Return to School Planning Guide that is available to everyone. If you have any questions or concerns, of course, please call the office and we will be able to assist you. We can't wait to see you, and we look forward to being in person and on distance for all of you Chargers. So we will see you next Wednesday for the orientation or the first day of school on Thursday. Have a great day, Chargers. Thank you.